Hey there, everyone. It's Sam with a quick live video for you. Happy Friday. I'm doing this on my phone again because I've said in one of my recent videos, I've been having some trouble with the new live producer on the computer. Facebook recently changed their live producer, and as with all the changes on Facebook, it would be great if it worked. But that's neither here nor there when I'm figuring out solutions. Don't have a very long video for you today. But every month I've been giving a book review of the fiction book I'm reading. So I wanted to tell you about what I've been reading lately. And I'll just go ahead and say it is this, The Great Hunt, which is book 2 of the Wheel of Time series. Okay, some of you have heard of that series. It's actually now an Amazon series, and Amazon Prime released the TV show. I believe it came out today, actually. And it's kind of, I swear I didn't plan it this way. I didn't make this my November read just because of the TV show. Actually, my brother is really into these books, and I've been slowly getting into them, maybe. So I'm going to see him next week for Thanksgiving. I thought I'd try to read this, be reading one of these books around now, so I could discuss it with him. So I have a long reading list, but part of the reason I'm reading some books over others these days is so I can discuss with friends or family. So I think that's it's been helpful and nice. So I will tell you just in an overview what I think of this series so far. I'm not far into it. If you know anything about this, there's I believe 14 books or 15 with a prequel. My brother said, and they're almost all about this size. This one's 700 pages, and I'm only on the second one. So I am very not far into it. Some of you have read the whole series. I guess my brother's into it. My friend Corbin, who's been on these videos and this podcast before, some of you have heard of him. He's really into these books. I have other friends who are too. I am very much at the beginning. I'm not certain if I'll ever finish the whole series, but I want to tell you what I think about it for now. And of course, this is primarily a writing series, although we do a lot of fiction and other things too. But I'll tell you kind of what I think of this and of the story and how we can apply it to our writing as writers. Okay, so the Wheel of Time. I'm gonna let me give you a broad overview first, my assessment. Then I'll elaborate. Let's see. I read book 1 last year, and I honestly was not super impressed with book 1. However, I managed to, I guess, persevere, and I'm reading book 2 now, and I am finding book 2 more interesting and more enjoyable, maybe than I did for book 1. I say that in advance, and I'll elaborate, but I wanted to say that because I'm going to be saying some things that will sound critical, and I didn't want it to be just a bash fest. I mean, there are parts I didn't like, maybe, but there are parts I am enjoying now too. So I wanted to be fair and balanced, and just let you know up front, I'm not just gonna bash the book. If this is your favorite series, which for some of you it is, sorry for parts that'll be critical, but I'm not being entirely critical, I hope. So obviously, if you know anything about it, this is an epic fantasy series. It's long. There's 14 books. Someone do the math. I've heard online. There's 2,000 named characters in the whole thing. I mean, just different characters coming in and out. 2,000 named characters. That's crazy. So the whole thing. I think we did the math. 14 books of this size is 8,000 pages, something like that. I don't know how many words. I think I heard maybe a million. I don't even know. And of course, the series was begun by Robert Jordan. I believe the last few were finished after his death, but with his notes. But Brandon Sanderson finished them up. He's also, of course, a known finisher these days. At the beginning, I'm reading the ones by Robert Jordan. They came out in the early 90s, I believe. And I would say pretty much any fantasy these days, anything in the fantasy genre, almost anything, has to be at least somewhat inspired by Tolkien. I mean, I don't think we can get away from that. We did a video, a post a little while back, a couple months ago, about the legacy of Tolkien and how it's influenced us and influenced the genre and such. But he's the father of modern fantasy. Things are gonna be influenced by him. One of the reviews on the cover of the one I was reading said something like, Robert Jordan brings us deeper into the world that Tolkien introduced us to, which I think, okay, that's cool. The trick, I guess, is doing that, is emulating the greats without being derivative. And I'll be honest, book 1 did feel derivative to me, and some parts still do. There's some things that are very, very, I guess, maybe tropey is the word I'd use. Let's see. for example, the monsters or the I guess the brutish army of bad guys. They're called Trollocs or Trollocs. It's basically the word troll and orc combined together almost. The Dark One, or I guess like who's the mysterious entity. I mean, not the character yet, so much as just like this is like the devil of this universe is named Shaitan. I'm like, really? Why not just say Satan? Okay. I'm being cynical now and kind of jokey, but it's like very similar. There's a chapter called that I'm out now called the Nine Rings, which is also sounds like Lord of the Rings. And okay, just kind of to draw the point home. Let me read you the first paragraph of this book. So I'm about almost halfway through this book. I wanted to be a little further by now in November, but I fall asleep sometimes and I'm old now and don't have time. But I'm hoping to catch up over Thanksgiving. Let me read you the first paragraph of not the prologue, because there's a prologue, but chapter 1. The wheel of time turns, and ages come and pass, leaving memories that become legend, then fade to myth, and are long forgot when that age comes again. If you're familiar with Lord of the Rings, that line should sound familiar. In one age, called the Third Age by some, an age yet to come, an age long past, a wind rose in the mountains of doom. That's Dhoom, but Mount Doom, anyone? The wind was not the beginning. There are neither beginnings nor endings to the turning of the wheel of time, but it was a beginning. So there are things that I'm just like, really? Like, you had to name your mountains Doom with an H? I mean, I know he's built a rich world. I know there's more creative fantasy stuff than that, but I'm just like, really, this feels very, very derivative of Lord of the Rings to me. And book 1, I'd say, was very much the quest motif. As far as the plot, it focuses on the main character. His name is Rand, but like many heroes on the hero's journey, he starts out from humble beginnings. He's a farm boy living in the middle of nowhere. This small, quiet, peaceful village in the middle of nowhere. And then monsters, Trollocs, I think it was, attack his village, and he and some friends have to start out on a quest to, one, get away from the monsters, but also, I guess, solve the larger problem of, if you forget what. Honestly, I read book 1 last year, and I wasn't super impressed. It didn't stick with me. So I'm just giving you a high level view of the details, but that was part of it. So he goes out. Rand goes out with his friends. He has 2 male friends who they've been buddies for a long time, called Matt and Perrin. Not Merry and Pippin. It's Matt and Perrin. And he has Egwene, who's kind of his love interest a little bit, at least, but of course, it's going on a quest and facing danger and their lives changing. Obviously, that's going to throw a wrench in some things. And have a couple other friends, like one of the magic users. They're called Aes Sedai in this world, and they're all females. I'll get to that in a minute. But this is a lady named Moiraine, who sets out with them. So that it's book 1 is very much a fellowship, a company, if you will, going out from a village on a quest. I mean, if you like that kind of thing, great. I mean, I like it sometimes, but I'm just saying it felt very generic to me. It felt very derivative, and all that stuff. But yeah, so I read book 1. I was like, it's okay. Honestly, wasn't my thing. But people keep telling me, like, people have said book 1 is like that, but after that branches off. Again, my brother, who loves this series, he said book 2 was one of his favorites. Actually, there's a character, and I mean, I'm halfway through the book 2, so I'm just saying what he says. But if you're familiar with it at all, a character called Padan Fain. This will be minor spoilers for book 1, but if you're interested, but Padan Fain, it was a normal villager from their hometown, but he's now a dark friend, meaning he's been influenced or taken over somehow by the Dark One. He's now a villain. My brother Henry said he found that character interesting, and he's more of a focus of this book. So I'm like halfway through that, and my friends did say, like, after book 1, it veers off. Like, characters get separated. Different things happen. It's not just a quest motif anymore. I mean, it's part of it too, I guess, but it goes in all different directions and more than that. And I'm like, okay, I'll give it a chance. So even though I was not impressed with book 1 too much, I am reading book 2 now, and I'm liking it more than I thought I would. Yeah. I do feel like I would have enjoyed this more if I had read them when I was younger, like when I was a teenager. I think Henry started them when he was a teenager. I had more time to read it and more enthusiasm. Maybe I wasn't as cynical about some of these things. I mean, I even liked Aragon back then. If you're not familiar, Aragon is a young adult fantasy book. It's basically the setting of Lord of the Rings with the plot of Star Wars. And back in ninth grade, I was like, "Oh, this is awesome!" And now I'm like, "It's just a recycled plot." So now that I'm reading these as a 31-year-old who's studied literature and such, yeah, some of it is recycled. Some of it feels recycled to me. So I'm. It's hard for me to take off my cynical English major glasses sometimes. But at the recommendation of friends and family, I stuck with it, and I'm trying book 2 at least. And I am enjoying book 2 more than I enjoyed book 1, I'd say. So the larger plot that they're now getting at, I think they're now explaining and sort of getting into, it does seem interesting to me. So, for whatever reason, and I think it's been explained a backstory, but like because of some curse the Dark One placed on magic and how that works, only females can use the magic or the one power or the true source or whatever it's called. Only females can use that, and that's not entirely true. Only females can use it safely. Men can use it, but they go insane. Like for whatever reason, when a man uses the magic, he starts going insane. So there's this character in a prologue, like way back at the beginning of, I think it was the beginning of book 1, a prologue from several thousand years ago. Character known as the dragon. I mean, he's a man. He's not a natural dragon, but he's like a fearsome warrior. So it's called the dragon, and he basically he like fought off the dark forces and all this stuff, and used magic to do it. But because he had used the magic, he went insane, and he actually also killed his own family. And basically, his legacy now is not just the legacy of a heroic warrior, but the legacy of this cursed, tragic person who went insane. And basically everyone's saying the dragon's going to be reborn, and there's these prophecies which happens in fantasy stories. There's prophecies of the dragon reborn, but it's not just like this idea of like, oh yeah, this hero's going to come save us. It's like the hero could also destroy the world because he's going to be insane. Like yes, the dragon reborn could defeat the Dark One's forces, but like he's gonna go insane. Like he could destroy us too. Like so it's like victory, but at what cost? And spoilers. I mean, it's not. I'm being sarcastic. Rand, the main character, is prophesied or is supposed to be the dragon reborn. At the end of book 1, he found out he could channel magic, and he used some of the power to defeat whatever bad guys they were facing at that time. They won the battle, but now he wonders, oh wait, I used the magic, and I'm a male. Am I gonna go insane? He's starting to, in book 2, he's starting to have these weird visions and different things, and he keeps wondering, am I gonna go insane? Like what's this gonna mean for the rest of my life, for my friends and my my love interest because I can't marry her anymore, and all this crazy stuff. And now, so he wonders what to do with his own life. I mean, obviously he's at a crossroads in his path, like every hero faces, like wondering, do I enter the call to destiny or not, and what does that look like for me? But others are also wondering what to do with it, like the mentors, the magic users, things like that. They're like, how can we guide him on this quest? Can we protect him? Can we use him to fulfill the prophecy, but still watch out for him because he's going to be dangerous? All that kind of things. So anyway, the whole aspect of like, it's not just a good heroic figure, but it's like this potentially destructive, insane figure. I thought that was interesting. So that I'm kind of interested to see where that goes. I mean, again, the whole series is out. I'm only on book 2, so I don't know where it's going to go. But I'm interested to see now, kind of the progression of that story. Book 3 is called The Dragon Reborn, so I might read. No, I kind of want to read book 3 at least. And I think we have these books like someone gave me copies of like the first couple books. We didn't realize we had them, but my wife and I found them when we were moving, and we both weren't sure where they came from. I was like, "Do you own that?" I didn't think I owned that. Turns out they belong to my wife's former roommate, who now lives in New Zealand. So Sandy in New Zealand, I have your books if you're missing them. But anyway, I now I kind of want to read it. I mean, again, I'm saying, you know, I'm 31 now. I'm a dad. I'm working full time. I'm not reading them very quickly. I don't know if I still don't know if I'll ever get through the whole series of 14 books. And I'm not really an audio person. I know I've talked about that before, but it's hard for me to do. So I do prefer physical hard copy books, and I'm gonna try to read at least the first few, like maybe 3 or 4, now that we have those. But it's still like I read one last year, and I read one this year. It's like, am I only gonna read them at like rate of one a year? That's still not very much. So I don't know. I don't know what the future will hold, but all that to say, I am interested to see where this is going now, and I want to keep reading. So the story has drawn me in enough. Book 2 is kind of a quest. I'm about halfway through it. They're going on. It's called The Great Hunt, and they're going on a hunt for this artifact that was stolen, this legendary magical horn that was stolen, as well as a magical dagger that Matt needs because magic reasons. If you read the book, you'll understand that more. So anyway, they're Rand and his company are going on a hunt for these things that were stolen by the bad guys. And actually, where I'm at, they just found them, but I'm only halfway through the book, so I'm sure more stuff will happen. So anyway, the plot is veering off from just the main, hero goes on a quest. They are taking more liberties with it and going in different directions. So I'm enjoying that now. Seemed derivative at first, but people told me it gets different and better after that. And so far, book 2, that's my experience too. So anyway, all that to say, I am enjoying Wheel of Time enough to continue for now. Still can't promise if I'll ever finish the entire series, but I will do what I can. And yeah, so what can we learn from our writing? I would say, if you're writing in a genre like fantasy or sci-fi, I mean, those are some of the most obvious ones. There are ways to emulate the greats without being derivative, and it's hard. I mean, I can't give you a magic formula. It's hard to walk that line. There's always that balance we're trying to find, like be original but still familiar. I can't give you a magic formula. I would just say, one, I mean, don't copy names directly, like Mountains of Doom or Shaitan. I mean, some of that seems kind of obvious to me now. But there are, elements, familiar elements in the hero's journey and stuff that will always recur. So, you can't really avoid tropes. And I talked earlier about tropes. Tropes aren't bad. It's just stories are made of tropes. It's just about how you use them. So I would say when you're writing in a genre like that, find ways to use tropes and use the familiar, but still put your own spin on it, put your own twist to the plot, things like that. And just tell your own story and don't try to be someone else's story. And you will be interesting that way. So yeah, that's what I think of the Wheel of Time so far. I have not watched the show. The show just came out today. I'm seeing my family next week. I'll probably watch it with my brother if he doesn't watch it. If he's not too eager and can wait for me for a few days, I'll watch it with him. But yeah, I'm reading book 2. I'm enjoying it well enough to continue, and we'll see if it continues influencing my fiction tastes or my writing in the future. So anyway, that's all for today. Thanks for listening. If I don't hear or see you again, or you don't hear from me again, have a happy Thanksgiving. Go check out Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime if that sounds like your thing, or read the books and keep reading and writing and all that stuff. This is Sam signing off. Bye.